should unmute this. So before we get rolling, the first question is, ready? Why is today a really good day or meeting to be 100% engaged? I'm going to answer that. Just whether it's a few bullets or you write down the whole thing, it's up to you. Why would right now, at this TLA prep, the first monthly prep of the semester, be a really good time to get 100% engaged and bring your best? Write down a few notes. Why would right now be an awesome time to be 100% engaged, to bring your best, to do your best, to participate at your best level? Give me another 10 seconds. Why would right now, the 8th of September, or some of you are watching this virtually on a video right now to make up, and you're going to send the notes by next Sunday at 9 p.m. Why would right now be an awesome time to bring your best, perform your best, do your best today, and be the most engaged? Second thing, what are 2 or 3 outcomes, as Mike said? And Mike took the exact word out of my mouth, outcomes. What are the 2 or 3 outcomes at the end of today's event when we get out today, latest 8:30, probably earlier? What are the 2 or 3 outcomes that will define a successful first prep for you? These two or three specific outcomes for you to say, wow, this was a great prep for me. If you're watching this video and you're making up based on agreements, what are 2 or 3 things as you watch these videos that will define you having a successful debrief of prep number 1? 2 or 3 outcomes to define success today. We're going to share these with a partner in just a second. Okay. What are 2 or 3 specific tangible outcomes? Okay. 2 or 3 outcomes. Give me another 10 seconds. 2 or 3 outcomes that would define a successful prep for you today. Okay. Last thing, we need to go ahead and open up the agenda for today. There was a new one that just got resent. Okay. If you don't have a laptop, here's what I'll say. Where have you been? It is now 2018. You gotta get a laptop. And if you don't have one, ready? You need to sell more to get a laptop. I'm serious. I don't know. I can't imagine anyone being a manager in any company, let alone running their own business, that doesn't have a laptop. And if you don't have one for whatever reason, I don't mind whether it's affordability, whether it's mind broke. I'm cool. I'm not cool with you going into the rest of the semester, and the longer you go, the worse it gets without a laptop. So work on a plan to get a laptop. But I have my phone. I hear all the time. Your phone is not a laptop. Okay. So for now, or you can do what Aiden did and just print all the damn documents before you get here if you don't have a laptop, and you can sell more. You just sold right before the push. Nice job. Or before the meeting. Okay? So go through the agenda, and here's what I'd like you to do. If you have a laptop, what you do is you type notes right into the agenda. So for example, when it says opening comments, instead of having a whole new document, I would just type all my notes and maybe separate it or highlight them and say, these are my notes for the opening comments. And I can write down takeaways at the bottom. So that when I review and reread, I can go right to the notes for the specific talk. That's an organization light bulb for meeting strategies. You guys got that? Any light bulbs there? Right. So I do that, and I'm not teaching anything. I don't do myself. Last week I was in Dallas for a meeting. Same exact thing. I have all my notes on my division manager quarterly meeting with Scott Dennis. Okay, so go through the agenda, and I want you to look at the different messages today. I want you to take 30 seconds to go through all the topics. Now I'll say them out loud, and then at the very end I'm going to ask you one more question, and we're going to share. Okay? So the first one's going to be opening comments from myself. Okay, kind of to set the tone and really kickstart our education today. Number 2, you're going to hear about the Olean trip, right? What the Olean trip entails, the VIP experience of the Olean trip, why it's part of TLA, and more importantly, how you get yourself funded for that trip. That's Carlos Cordero today. We're going to talk about how to get out of finals, how to get out of school. Oh, let me mute everyone. Let me mute everyone. 1 second. I'm gonna mute all for a second. Okay. Next message is going to be the personal recruiting program by from Mike Abramowitz. He's going to walk through A to Z. Now, I know we've already gone through the approach, but Mike's going to walk through the whole PR program. And you're going to see at the end of that message, this is the number one most important program we have in our company right now to build business, to build sales. Okay. Did anyone here say break? What's that about? No? Break? Okay. Then we're going to have Andrew Evans, number one district manager in the company, right? Emerging as one of the elite. He's going to share how to start a business from scratch. And we're going to have a 2-part series on that Andrew and I are going to help facilitate so that you guys know, all right, how do I go from I'm just a college student to now I have a team? Next one, we're going to do drill for skill. That's not really anything other than we're going to score you to see how much you've worked on your personal recruit. And a couple of you, just so you know, reminder of how it rolls. I'm going to pick a few people randomly to come up, and you're going to go and you're going to get your score. I'll critique you, and then we'll break off into groups, with help of my district manager friends and hub leaders to give scores for everyone. It'll be posted. It'll be sent to me. It'll be part of your matrix score. Okay? And then, of course, Karina's going to talk quickly about the interview. And Karina, if you looked at the agenda, I shortened the time just a little bit, but I think you'll be fine. So she's going to talk about the actual interview and how to run an interview and all the objectives. And what's really cool is we're already going to start having you learn how to run an interview. And some of you are already ahead of the game. How many of you have already run your first interview? Yeah, there's about 15 of you who have already put yourself ahead of the game by running interviews. Pretty cool. And then we'll have the TLA financial systems. Just to be clear, that's not an actual message. That's just a setup for the actual message, which is the next prep. Start talking about money big time. Okay. And then last but not least, we'll wrap up with some advanced planner strategies. And then we'll finish up to a safe trip home. Or for those of you that are interested, I know each hub is potentially going to facilitate some type of meet and greet / team night out, right? So if you're hungry and you want to get some food, you can do that too. Cool. So go through the agenda, and I want you to jot down 2 or 3 things that you'd be really excited to gain from today's session. And hub leaders, so Mike and Carlos, Jackson and David. Okay. We're going to facilitate just a quick pair share. We're not going to do a group share, but we'll do a pair share in just a second. If you are virtual, then I want you to call someone someone else who is virtual and pair share with them. So Alejandro, you can call someone in San Juan. Grant, you can call someone over in the Tampa Clearwater area. Marley, you can call someone from who is over here in South Florida, my office. Same thing with Alex. Or you guys can call each other. Right? I'll leave it up to you. Caitlin, you can call someone down here. Just find someone else from TLA, and we'll do a quick pair share. So another 20 seconds. Look through the agenda. What are 2 or 3 things that would define a successful, I guess, education today from the agenda? You can call your original branch manager. Colin, you can call Grant. Elizabeth, you can call someone down here. I don't know. The whole office is here practically. The yeller from Fort Lauderdale, you can call someone over here. Stephanie, you can actually call Elizabeth. I mean, there's an easy way to do it, okay? So here's how we'll facilitate. So Mike, Carlos, David, and Jackson, and I'll be over here. When I say go, I want everyone to find a partner. It doesn't matter who. You can share. You can also do in triplets if you want. I want you to share. I want you to share the answers to the 3 questions. Number 1, why is now a good time to have the best meeting possible? Number 2, what are 2 or 3 outcomes to define successful meeting for you? Number 3, what are 2 or 3 things you're excited and looking forward to getting from the agenda today? Anyone have any questions? So find someone. Make that eye contact. I'll leave it up to you to find someone. We'll share in 3, 2, 1. All right. Are we primed, everyone? Okay. Tallahassee Hub, we good to go? Yes, we're good. Very good. We're good. Tampa Hub, we good to go? Tampa Hub, we good to go? Yeah. Okay. San Juan Hub, we're good to go. All right, and then we have, there you go, nice. And then we have virtual land. So just to be clear, okay. So if you are watching virtually right now, after opening comments, we'll have a quick break, and you guys are free to go, and you can watch the rest virtually. And then, of course, there's going to be probably a good maybe 10 to 15 people who asked within 2 weeks out to get excused, and they're all good to go, and they'll watch the entire thing virtually. Cool? How are we feeling? Ready to roll?
Yes, sir.
So what do you take from that specific exercise as we start? And then the hub leaders, make sure if you're having technical issues, you go right to David. What are you taking from that exercise? Sharing, writing down questions. Max?
It gets us to like really set our mind to like learning like the skills we're about to teach us.
Yeah, it gets you
pumped up.
Pumped up and really focused, right? Good. Go ahead.
I remember Andrew saying that if you write a goal down, it's a goal, but if you don't, it's just a dream that you want to achieve it. So it's like writing down what you want to get from the TLA.
Yeah, there's something active about writing it down, and I agree. Okay, thanks, Ruben. Hey, one more. Go ahead.
I remember it was kind of like that. Carlos said that when he heard a quote, "If you write down your goals, then it's more achievable for you to actually attain it."
Yeah, they actually did a study that at Harvard or Yale, I believe. We'll talk.
Yeah.
Okay. So I want to welcome you to Leadership Academy #1, and believe this. Ready? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 18. This is my 17th time running TLA. Yeah. Better than the first one, trust me. May the Lord have mercy on the souls of that first year TLA class. I am so sorry. If I could find them and apologize to them, and I gave my best. I gave my best. It's nowhere where it is now. And you've seen me put this up before about being engaged, okay? And if someone could text some of the hub leaders to make sure they're seeing the right screen, that they see this, okay? When you talk about being engaged today, I'm just going to go quickly. You know, this isn't about what you like to do. The meeting today is about continuing to be the best what? Yeah, the best version of yourself. And the best version of yourself means you look for best practices. What's the best way to do things out there? We've got some of the best in the company here to help. We got Mike Abramowitz and Carlos Cordero facilitating our Tampa Hub. And I want to say thank you again, gentlemen, for doing that. We have one of the best new DMs in our region right now, Mr. Jackson Montgomery in Tallahassee. We have one of our top 15 district managers in the entire East Coast with David Vargas. And of course, you have the pilot here with the great help that we have in the back with Karina. Orlando decided to come over and help out. And of course, Mr. Andrew in the back. Okay. Here's something I wanted to share that it came up last year a couple times. And it seems to be, I don't know why it's not coming up. I'll just say the quote. Change is hard in the beginning. Okay. It's messy in the middle, but glorious at the end. I'll say it again. Change is hard in the beginning. And we're going to actually reference that today. Change is actually really hard in the beginning. It's messy in the middle, but it's glorious and beautiful at the end. That's Robin Sharma. And as we get into TLA today, I hope you know, and I'm going to take a quote right from my fiance. Heidi always says, well, it's not all bunnies and rainbows. Right? And for example, raising kids, it's not all bunnies and rainbows. Getting fit, it's not all bunnies and rainbows. You know, you get all pumped up. You get into TLA, it's like, yeah! And then it gets hard. You're like, shoot. The hell did I get into? You got into growth. That's what you got into. But it's hard in the beginning. It's always, always hard in the beginning. This is something I speak about often, especially when it comes to people in Vector and in Cutco. And it talks about, I love talking about being a big fish in a small pond. You see, you can be a really, really small fish in a big pond. And I think about, for example, if I were in corporate America, I'm the great Jeff Gamboa here. I don't know where I'd be in corporate America. I'd like to think I'd be great, but that might just all be in between my ears. That could be just ego. But see, what's great, whether it's a short period of time, a long period of time, or for a career like me, here, you can be a big fish in a small pond here. You can be a rock star here. Whereas in other places, if I were a doctor, I think I would have been a pretty good doctor. I would like to think I would have been a great doctor. Would I have been the best doctor? I don't know. Would I have been a Hall of Fame doctor? I don't know. Here, I'm the best. Here, I'm Hall of Fame. Here, I influence and have a lot of opportunities to instruct and do what I love, which is mentor. So food for thought. I want to thank Andrew for getting me onto this one podcast. I really wasn't going to get onto Ed Milet's podcast just for physical judgment. I was totally judging this dude. I said, okay, clicked on it. I saw this really yoked up guy. I'm like, oh, I'm not going to watch this. And then I started listening to him, and I said, wow, if I didn't know what this guy looked like, because who's with me? Who's already listened to? Yeah, so I've been. Say it again.
He looks like an Italian.
Is he an Italian meathead?
I don't know.
I don't know.
He has muscles.
He's like massive.
Yeah, and anyway, so I saw I was listening to one of his podcasts, and I have 3 in rotation right now. Okay, one of them is the Front Row Factor. I'm doing it for a friend who runs the Front Row Foundation, Ed Milet, and then the third one, which I'll share with some of you. I talked about it at Next Level, is Arthur Brooks, and I'll share that later. But Ed Milet had this really interesting concept that I want to share that I shared earlier. In the first years, you really dig this. Education is available anywhere. You can get Ivy League education. You can pay for an MBA. You can do a lot of things to get educated. But that's not the key to success. The key to success isn't education. It's application and work ethic. You can be the most educated person in the world. Let me put it to TLA. You can get a lot from TLA. In fact, Next Level, there are a lot of you that got a lot from TLA sessions when you came last year. But what were your results? Right? It's work ethic and application. Everyone wants to, or maybe this was also, Gary Vee said this too on the other day. Like, it doesn't matter how much education you have if you're not willing to work and put application. Food for thought. I believe, and the reason it's not clicking is because the battery's done. I see. Okay. Andrew, I'm not sure if this is from you or not, Praxis. Did you forward this on your social media, or Scott? Did Scott get this from you? Or
Scott sent it, but
you forwarded it?
No, I like to look at it.
Okay, so his name is Moorhead, right? Isaac Moorhead. So Isaac Moorhead, you don't know who he is, but all you need to know is that he has come up with this movement where a lot of people nowadays are not really interested in getting an education out of fear of debt. You guys are familiar with that concept? Or you ever hear the biggest scam in the world, student loans? Right? And whether you agree with that or not, that's not what we're here to debate. What I want to show you is that he has established a company, if you will, where instead of paying for school and going into debt, it's a 6-month boot camp where you'll pay $11,000 to $12,000 for a 6-month boot camp to give you skills, sales skills, sound familiar? Entrepreneurial skills, life skills, financial skills, sound familiar? And you pay $11,000, and then they place you directly into, ready, a real life business internship. Sound familiar? Sound familiar? Sound familiar? Now, you won't run the business, but you'll go directly into a business and get mentored for 6 months. I find it really interesting that there's a guy who's banking right now on a concept that we have where we actually don't charge people $11,000. We pay you to do it. You get paid to get this. But this guy's probably, I don't know if he already is a millionaire, but he's probably going to be one of those big time. Do you have a thought? What's going on there?
Well, the funny story is, to be honest, is that like I got introduced to him like 3 years ago. It was like after my freshman year in college, and so we were like kind of knew I was doing here. She had just graduated. She went into the leadership program. She like introduced us. He's like, oh, you would probably really be into what he's doing. And we're like, hear more about it. And I was really like, hopping on books, and I'm like, what the hell would I pay for this stuff? Like,
yeah,
and I'm like, yeah, I'm good. Okay.
Yeah, if you can't hear what Andrew's saying on the broadcast, he's met the guy in school and college. And someone said, "Oh, Andrew, you're really into personal growth. What this guy's doing, you're doing as well. Thank you, sir." And he said, "You should link up." And I'm quoting Andrew. He said, "Why the hell would I do that when I get paid to do it at Cutco? Why would I pay $11,000 to do that? I'm good." So, not my quote. That's pretty cool. Pretty funny. Mm-hmm. And that's the name of his company, Praxis, Praxis. So if you're curious and want to spend $11,000 to get what you get paid to do here, be my guest. Up to you. Or you get paid to do it here. Okay, and you get paid handsomely. Do you know that Andrew Evans saved 100 grand this summer? When you're out of college. That's pretty cool. Do you know that, I'm just using Andrew because here I would have used a lot of you. Andrew, how much did you save before this summer out of college collectively? Do you remember how much you've earned or saved?
Like total or how much I saved?
Both. Whatever number. They're both big. They're both really.
I saved like 70 after last summer.
Okay, so through college was able to save. That means he's also spent and invested and had money to pay expenses through college. Put aside 70 grand through college. I don't know a lot of 70-year-old and 70 grand 3-4 year investors at your age. I'm sure there are, but I don't know too many personally. And that's why we have cut through college. And I'll bore you with the spiel. If you don't know this, then you should just get the hell out of my office. Raise your hand if you know this. You're like, Jeff, I could say it. Raise your hand. Okay? I get it. And you're here because you believe in this. Am I right? Can I get a true? Is what there's a true? Yeah, you believe in this. I believe in this. This is my product. You sell knives, I sell this. It's so bad when you go up, I don't even know all the prices. In fact, I just saw Al D. Leonardo, our president, at a wedding, and he said, "What do you want for your wedding?" And I said, "I don't want the flatware. Why would you give me? I already have flatware." He goes, "What do you want?" "I'll take a signature with steak knives." He goes, "How much is that again?" Like, our CEO doesn't even know the prices, right? So far removed. I think it's hilarious. We're here because we want you, and you're here because you want you to be a 5-star recruit. So today's going to be about a lot of light bulbs. Now, what I'd like you to do, we're not going to share this for sake of time, otherwise we'll be here till 2 o'clock. I'd like you to take 10 seconds, post on the TLA. I would like you to post one thing you appreciate. We won't share, just for sake of time. Give me one thing you appreciate. And if you want a feel-good moment, just scroll through it during the break. If you want to give a shout to one of your homies, you can do that. One thing you appreciate on the TLA group. If your next question is, what is the TLA group? You're probably in trouble, right? This is also my diabolical way to take attendance. Light bulb? Light bulb? My diabolical way to get quick attendance and a quick head count. So just one thing you appreciate. Like that, give you another 10 seconds. If you're not done, just send whatever you have. Excellent. This is fun. I like it. 58 so far. Whoa. I like it. Okay. 5 seconds. Send it.
Send it.
Yes, ma'am. I'm waiting for it. You know, Scott mentioned this in his opening comments. We're doing now what others won't, so later we can what? You guys have heard that before? We're doing today what others won't, so tomorrow or next year we can do what others can. I know some of you are missing game day. I know some of you are making sacrifices to be here or driving. I get that. But you know what? I'm going to tell you it's worth it. It's going to be worth your time today. It's going to be worth your time when you're going to be a part of this, where in 2019, next year, we're going to steal our company programs to all the vector marketing. So all these TLA meetings that we have that you think are just kind of Florida United things, aka, you know, the Gamboas, like, I know, Dad, why do we do all that? Everyone's going to want to do what we do. In fact, everyone is starting to do what we do. And we have a really, really unique, humble responsibility to give it really good and give it really systematically to the company to help our company get better. And you're a flagship. You're going to be able to say, you know, I was part of TLA in 2018. And they're going to go, whoa, that class? Vector Train. Here's how great it is right now to be part of the U. Vector Train was a mantra we came up with last year. 1 year later, the national conference, essentially the SC2 for the entire company, the theme of the meeting is Vector Train. Because they dig it so much. Because they believe in that. And I can tell you, Vector Train means so much more, especially nowadays. I believe in TLA moments. You guys know what TLA moments are? TLA moments are when you go to class and you're in your advanced business class and they put a slide up and you go, oh, damn, I learned that in Cutco. It's a TLA moment. TLA moment is your friends are stressed out. Maggie, can we talk? What's wrong? I am so stressed. What's wrong? I have an exam next week. And that's it. The hell? You're not stressed? You're not stressed. I was playing character. You're not stressed? Honey, I've been through SC2 push. I'm not stressed. Right? Anyone have some of those moments? Give me a light bulb if you had some of those moments. Right? Or, ready? Did anyone pull out their planner and someone looked at you and went, whoa? Raise your hand. Give me a light bulb if you got that. Whoa. What's that for? You're going to pull. Whoa. Multiple. Or, ready? Wait till 2 months from now when people find out you have a budget. And find out when you go to the ATM, you're not crossing your fingers. And find out that when you want to go out, you can anytime, every single time, because you're on a budget, but you're saving. Or when you say, oh, I have to skip class. Or you can't get out of class. I just did. I just talked to the professor. How? Vector trained, right? TLA moment. So I'm going to be asking every week, hey, what are some TLA moments? Like probably either Mondays or Fridays. I want you to text. I want you to post on TLA your vector trained TLA moments. Can you do that for me? Is that cool? Just can anyone share like 1 or 2 good ones right now? Any good TLA moments?
I like put aside 2 days a week where I get all of my homework done ahead of time, like turn everything in online ahead of time. And I have these 2 girls that I have a few classes with, and I was telling them like, oh, I don't have homework to do for like the next few days because I made sure I got it done. And they're like, what? I was like,
they don't
well,
understand.
do you just
they
like
don't,
do
yeah.
it at the last minute? And they're like, well, yeah, it's due at 11:59. So I don't know. Everybody waits till the last minute.
Yeah. That is a TLA moment where you actually put in your planner to get work done ahead of time. We'll get one from Max and we'll roll.
I've been writing in my planner because I have a weekly, monthly, and daily portion in my planner.
I know, Max. We told you to get it. Go ahead.
I've been writing down how to meditate and do yoga every day.
Oh, so wellness. Oh, how about that?
Yes.
That's pretty. What do the kids say? That's dope, right?
I got one of my roommates meditate with me for like 5 minutes. Yeah.
All right.
So like a little.
How about this for thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing. How about this for TLA moment? How about just pay attention to who you hang out with and who you listen to? Remember, I want to be very careful. Circle of influence doesn't mean dump your friends. It just means listen to some of them less. Right? That's different. There's a difference. I'm not telling you to dump your friends. That's probably not healthy. For some, it might be. I don't know. But this is a TLA moment, okay? And here's how powerful circle of influence is. I do an exercise where I write down all the different branches and assistants that talk to each other. And I put them in little groups and I circle them and make little circles. And it's really funny because all their CPOs of their offices and their branches all usually match up. Like Andrew and Luke and Eddie, myself, we all talk all the time. Sometimes too much. We're just all this WhatsApp, right? All that. And then you have a lot of the, if I take a look at the bottom of all the low branches in our division last year, the lowest ones all talk to each other or don't talk to anyone. Okay. So light bulbs, that food for thought. Okay. Here's what I want to share. The objectives are branching. I want you to get this down. I'm going to say this once today, and we're going to say it every single prep. We have several people with the letters of intent already in. We have several people who have told me they're crafting it, and we have a few that will come a little bit later. Remember, the letter of intent means you're all in, and you're training 100% to get selected for a branch position. Doesn't mean you're guaranteed a spot, but it just means you've already made that decision, okay? But the objectives of a branch, and I want you to remember this, is not just to run a business. It's to get experience, but also it's for what? Profit, potential. What does that mean? It means that potential means what could happen. You can make profit, but you also what? You could lose some money. And by the way, that makes this, ready, a real business. That makes this a real business. If you had a business model where you were guaranteed to always profit and you have no possibility of going in the negative, it's not really a business model. You show me when someone can get that experience. You show me a place where someone can get experience like that. I'm sure there are, but we have it very prevalent for you in our branch opportunity. And I've talked about this all the time, but some people want to branch their first time. It's to build a business. Build the business from scratch, and I'm going to take you essentially through Andrew's model. Round 2, we have people going back. Dalila Kolar coming back to run a branch the second time. Oscar Parada in Puerto Rico to come back and run a branch the second time. I've already got letters. Zach Schachter just ran an office on the Gulf side. He's about to put a letter in for a second time. Why? Because then instead of learning how to build a business, you'll learn how to grow it. This is Andrew Evans. Andrew, first summer branch in Boca?
Sales?
Yeah.
130.
130, second?
350.
How's that look on a resume? Right? And then Andrew decided to do it a third time and then learn how to scale a business. And that's why people love doing that. The word I always say is tenure. Tenure. When a company says, wow, you stay with the same company, oh, you didn't do as well that first year, but you continued to train and got better in the same craft. Oh, we want you. Because what company wants to hire someone and say, Orlando, so you seem to hop often when things get hard. We'd love to have you. Or Orlando, you seem to always be looking for the next best thing and not seem to want to stay in one company and grow within that company. Sounds like a fit for us. Come on down. I'm sure there are companies that are primed for that. But I don't know that that's what I know is really impressive is at a young age you stuck with it. I had a flattering moment. I met one of Heidi's colleagues' friends that were in town from New York. Big hedge fund guy, super wealthy, you could tell. All I kept talking about was my watch. I was like, I don't like this guy. He's like, oh yeah. So what do you do? Has ever heard of Cutco? He goes, oh, those knives, bro. This is how the hedge fund manager spoke, by the way. I said, yes, those knives, bro. And he said, oh, yeah. I said, I've been doing it for like 22 years. You don't even look like you've been doing it for 22 years. Man, who's with a company more than 10 nowadays? I said, exactly. Exactly. Because who's with a company more than 10 years, 5 years nowadays? I said, exactly. How long have you been doing hedge fund? Like 2? Right? How many different jobs? I asked, how many different jobs have you had? 6? Because it's hard to keep a job in New York. Tenure, man. Really important. I have an old school picture of some. Look at Luke back in the day. These are some of our second year branches. Right? These are my favorite pictures of Branch Abroad. Branch Abroad, by the way, we set the record this year for most people abroad. We sent 3 to Virginia. We sent 1 to Pensacola, Florida. One of our, Dalila, sorry, you're a person, Dalila, my fault. We sent Dalila to Pensacola, Florida. We sent Tracer Parrish to Statesboro, Georgia. Right? We also sent 3 of our, we had a real world house branch where 3 of our branches lived together in the same house, but ran 3 different offices in 3 parts of Richmond, Virginia. That was Amanda Swanson, Ella Blaisdell, and Jeremy Williams. Right? Am I missing any exports? Yeah, those were our 5. A couple of years ago, we had people from Puerto Rico. Paolo Lindenman came up and ran an office in Fort Myers. We had Esteban Rec run an office. He's from Fort Lauderdale, went to St. Thomas, and ran an office in Puerto Rico. So not only will they get the branch experience, but they learn how to open up a business abroad and how to do international relations in some cases. Or just how about starting a business in a different environment. Okay. And I could go on and on about district managers and that career. But what's really cool is that we have such an exciting, appealing opportunity. We have people that are just brand new to our business this summer, like a Stephen DeFala, who just submitted a letter of intent, a Daniel Belton, who just submitted a letter of intent, a Mike Sullivan, who just submitted a letter of intent, just naming 3 right now, where they were just reps this summer, and their goal is to train and open up not a branch office, but either a career position or their first job out of college office as a district manager, which includes all the bonuses, the BMW, and all the great things that happen when you become a district. I think it's pretty sweet. You show me where in the world you have an opportunity after being a Cutco rep with college students the next year, being in a position that at some point averages you $100 grand a year. That's pretty cool. Even if it's not a career for those gentlemen. Pretty sweet deal for the next couple of years. I want you to write this down, and I will say this often every prep. Funded and trained. Who runs offices in Florida United? Whoever's funded, whoever's trained. If you have the startup capital, if you're trained, we will find you a spot. It may be in Florida, it may be in Puerto Rico, it may be in Georgia, it may be in South Carolina, North Carolina, it might be in Virginia, it might be in the Virgin Islands. We will find you a spot to have this great experience and not just profit, but profit potential, okay? And for some of you, your diabolical plan is not to be a manager, but you love selling and you're just doing TLA to run a branch, do TLA again, and then end up like our Cutco sales professional. One of our best examples this summer, this specifically, is Ella Blaisdell, where from the moment she got into TLA, she says, Jeff, I love selling independently. That's what I love to do. I want a branch so I can learn to be better at a cut-through sales professional position. That is Taylor Max Ricard. Everyone knows Taylor Max. He's a branch manager 1 year, actually multiple years, and then now he's a successful cut-through sales professional. And you know, obviously, that community over there, okay? And one thing I want to say also is that this hasn't been something I've been speaking about often, almost in a borderline cocky way, but more of a confident, proud way. I already know we have an amazing district manager team. When we go to LA, we're going to Hollywood, California in a few weeks for SLC, our Sales Leadership Conference. And we're going to showcase the you in front of the whole company. When I walk into the room, you know, that proud papa feeling, I walk in and they say, oh, there's Florida United. It's kind of like the way you feel when we go Dale Fuego the you at the conference and everyone goes, what the hell was that? You remember that? When we do the whole cheer and everyone goes, damn. We don't Dale Fuego you at the conference. We don't have to. We just walk in and people know the programs and the success and the names and the faces. It's pretty exciting. Any light bulbs so far? Yeah? Okay. Wrapping up here. Culture eats strategy for lunch. Here's what I do know. If you're not that skilled, maybe as a branch manager, maybe right now, maybe as an assistant manager, if the culture is right, you'll always succeed. If a culture is high in work ethic, you will always succeed over the more skilled, lazy person. If the culture is personal growth, you will always succeed over the person who's not growing themselves. That guy who started Praxis, they said, what does success mean to you? He said, continuing in constant growth. Not money, not a specific accomplishment, but growth. You know, a great, wise, handsome, brown man once said, that's me. Have an infectious enthusiasm for leadership and growth. And I think that's what we have. That's what I have. You know, every division manager runs it the way they operate and how they view their values. We have an infectious attitude here for infectious enthusiasm for growth and leadership. Here's what's great about TLA. We're going to teach you how to think here. People think that this is about just learning how to write a check or how to develop your credit score. How do you run a Cutco interview? How do you get personal recruits? How do you use Facebook and social media to start a business here and somewhere else? That's not what TLA is about. The number one thing I can give you, my gift to you in your long or short time with us through college or longer, is this. You learn how to operate and think differently. Ready? When you're in TLA, when you're vector trained, and when you're vector trained, you take responsibility. You're not the victim. When you're vector trained, you read books because you want to, not because it's an assignment. Right? When you're vector trained, you don't magnify problems. Does anyone have that one friend where every problem becomes the biggest problem in the world every mother-loving time? Yeah. Or ready? That person that just sweeps everything under the rug. The avoider. Every time, oh no, I don't want to talk. And it's just what happens when you avoid it. It builds up and then it explodes. What's great about TLA is that we don't do that. What's great is, ready? I think of normal college students, and every time there's a challenge, it's like, oh, happy, right? And they're struggling to survive in the waters of life, okay? And then as you go through TLA, you're like, oh, I got this. Let me just swim through that. And then you go through multiple years of TLA, and you're like, damn, I'm just chilling, okay? And that's what's so great about TLA. You will have the same challenges 3 times in a row, and you'll be 3 different people going into the challenge. You'll learn how to make really good decisions with TLA. You'll learn how to reflect on yourself. And we did this at Next Level, assess and adjust. Really look in the mirror and say, all right, well, what do I need to improve? I want to thank all my A players, those of you that I met early before COC, for continuing to lead the way. This is just one of several events that will build upon each other. And I just want you to always remember this concept. I'm not going to show you all the pictures. You know, I always show Luke, right? Like the power of 1 year. Where could you be next year? What's really interesting in front of me today and on virtual, or some of you watching this video, do you know that in this room are multiple people who are going to run their own office, and more than half of them don't think they're going to do it right now? Statistics show. It's not even I'm not even just saying anything to say it. Statistics show there, at least physically in front of me, there are 3 to 7 of you, and in Tallahassee 3 to 7, and in Tampa 3 to 7. And in Puerto Rico, 1 to 4 because of the size of the meeting, and probably 2 or 3 of the people watching virtually right now are going to be running an office next year. But and half of them in their mind right now are like, oh hell no, I ain't doing that next year. And you're going to be running an office next year because Eric Palacio was a oh hell no at this meeting last year. Did I also tell you that Eric Palacio is the #1 branch in the Eastern region this summer? Oh, hell no, this Eric Palacio. Okay. How to train. This is going to be part of the next break. Okay. Part of the next break is I want you to debrief the opening comments, and I want you to find the next level member. So if you're in a group area, okay, a grouped hub, Tallahassee, Tampa, and San Juan. If you're a next level member in here, I'd like you to raise your hand. Next level, raise your hand. And Giovanni's coming, right? So, and even the district managers. What I want you to do during the next break is I want you to find a next level member, someone who's been here, and I want you to ask them how to train. How to get the most out of today? How to get the most out of TLA? And this one, we'll take a picture. Ms. Ortiz, would you mind being my picture taker since you're the closest and you're Filipino? You got me? All right, you got it. So before you take it, watch. You can take 3 pictures. This one's first one. There are 5 programs that if you get, you know how to successfully build, start, and profit and grow a Cutco organization, right? PR program, how to get people on the team. If you're focused on the best practices, and I'll mention that in a second, how to train people, and we'll post the picture if you want to. The Fast Start program, how to get people in the first 10 days rocking and rolling with Cutco, and how to manage demos. And then, of course, it's not that simple. It's a lot more to it. My districts are going, it's not just that. Within each one are other subsets. These are the things I want you to focus on. Outside of this, other than how I want you to think and how organized I want you to be, this is it. And here's what's interesting. Ready? Your first year training, you will get the general feeling of this. It's your second summer running an office. It's your second summer TLA where you start to get into this. And man, that third summer, Andrew's an example, one of many examples of after 3 summers, you really start to get this, but and you also get a lot more growth. You also get the third year, more profit, way more profit. And if I were to say, well, Jeff, keep it simple for me, I would just do these 2. If you can get really good people on your team at a high level and teach them to be successful Cutco sellers, all good in the hood. What hood? This hood. Whose house? Our house. Whose is that? That's Clearwater, right? What time is it? Whose house? Our house? Wow. Okay. Okay. And I want you to know that versus what you think is going to be TLA. This training is not about being perfect. It's about this mess. Because the more you offshoot that, the more you get to this. So what I'm trying to do as I wrap up my opening comments is I'm giving all of you permission to mess up at the highest level ever. Okay? And if you've worked with me long enough, Karina here in this room, probably the longest, Andrew second, I want you, and it's okay to make mistakes. Just what? Just don't make the same mistakes twice. Right? Think about that. I want you to make mistakes. Right? Mess up. And if you mess up gigantic. Mess up so big that you forget to print out training manuals, David, before one of the biggest, most important training seminars of the summer last summer and makes or breaks our summer. If you make that mistake, make it big. But guess what? We'll move past it if you don't have that mistake ever again. And I promise you, David has never, ever, ever done that ever again. But he learned from it. And he's more organized with his training seminar materials because of it. It's a gift. Okay? And last but not least, make a statement. I love talking about the matrix score. Okay? In fact, I'm going to forward right now all the startup totals so you can see where you are. And just so you're aware, this is as of, I'll forward a couple of things. I figured it'd be easier. I'm going to send this on email. You take a look at the WhatsApp. I'm going to send 5 pictures real quick. Everyone take a look. If you're in the green, David, there's an issue here. Or maybe not. If you look at the startup, I want to recognize all of our players that are at least the bare minimum. How much do you have to be to be on pace for the first level? What's the first level of start? It's super small. What is it? The base, most base level. It's $100, right? So if you look here, everyone in yellow is at least $100, whether it's from money you gave or money that's been withheld. If you're in the red, okay, so that's from, what's that right now? DJ, Selena, Brendan, Lucas, Jen, all the way down. There are not too many people under 100. Okay? But if you look at the next picture, go to the yellow. Okay, so from Chris, Hunter, Nicole, Adriana, Sierra, and Madison all the way down in yellow. You guys are anywhere from $100 to $494. And I just want to give props. When you're at $1,000, that's 2 levels ahead. Now we need to remember this, and if you're taking notes, 2 levels up. 2 levels up. Whatever the level is that's due, be 2 levels ahead. That will put you on pace for the best positions next summer. So right now, 2 levels from now is $1,000, which really isn't even due till November. Okay, so I want to give props to the following people. And again, I wrote this in the WhatsApp, but yours might not be on here because either you're tabbing for another division or because the startup you just submitted isn't put up yet. Okay, if we can check my computer, please. Okay, so I want to give props to the following people who are all over 500 or higher. Oh, I'm sorry, 1,000 or higher. Josh Spiegel, Jade Iadarola, Malcolm, Hunter McGregor, Steve DeFalo, Elizabeth Gramaches, Mike Sullivan, Gabriela Rapallo, that's old school, right? Giselle, Josh, Jonathan, Carla, Marley, Aiden, and the numbers keep going higher. Then you have over 2,000. I think it starts with Alex Arias all the way up, and right currently #1. In fact, let me recognize over $2,000. That's really high. If you're over 1,000, you're 2 levels up. But $2,000, it's I think this started with Alex Arias, Trent, Daniel Belton, Gigi, Skylar, Sofia Vega, Puerto Rico, RJ, Mesa Linker. This is exciting. Hold on. Mason over almost $3,000. Grant Strayer, 3,300. Right. 3,900. Rob Rodriguez. That's exciting. Grant Lopresti, 4,200, and it goes all the way up in the 4,000s. Patricia, Eric. I know Patricia maybe even more. Skylar over 5, and the following people all over 5, all the way up to our #1 person right now, which is Maggie, at least on this report. Skylar, Christina, Jack Osborne, Lauren, Tristan, Chelsea Hage, Eddie De Las Cuevas, Zach Schachter, Will, Nicole Rodriguez, and Maggie. That doesn't include, for example, like a Luke, who's not on this report, who's #1, but his report is under the Florida Atlantic because he's in that office for the school year. PJ, your number is probably also in that report. Anyone who goes to school at UF, UCF. Okay,
All night.
cool. So can we give props to all of our $1,000 plus? That's pretty cool. So ready? It's easy as Venmo. You guys already have the document on how to Venmo me. Any questions on that? I also want to have you go to the next picture. I want to give props to all of our letters of intent. I want to give props to our letter. You have quick questions?
Since I have 300 values, I love you 1,000.
I probably spent it on some clothes or something. I'm just kidding. Just follow with me. Just follow with me. It might not have gone through yet.
Or sometimes Venmo is like big payments. It takes a while.
Yeah, just follow up if it's not accurate. So letter of intent, I want to recognize Daniel Belton for his district manager and Stephen DeFalo for their district manager letter of intent. Chelsea, Erica, Laura Miro, Rob Rodriguez, Eddie De Las Cuevas, Nefti, Christina Fernandez, Tristan Upton, Mila, Amy, Josie Daco, Giovanni Pastrana, and Daniel Belton. I want to give props to those guys. And a couple of you letters still have to be submitted. I know you guys are in the process, but get those in as soon as possible. We're going to get some snaps for our letters of intent. Okay. Outstanding. I also want to make a special announcement here. One of the most coveted positions in our division is the pilot sales manager position. And the reason it's so coveted is because essentially it's Luke, right? And the reason Luke is so important, and now for the fall, David, is because the right-hand person to the pilot is what allows me to open up and be a great division manager. When the pilot operates at a high level, the programs come out of the pilot. And when there's a great pilot manager, there's a great division every single time. And we've seen that with the great help that Luke has given to the pilot for the last 2 summers. And we'll all miss Luke, but not too much because he's going to be a district. He'll still be here. But we will miss him in the pilot for sure. But I'm proud to announce that we've selected next year's pilot sales manager after some interviewing and some processing and stuff that you don't need to know. I want to announce officially today, the training has already begun for Luke's replacement. As of this coming summer, summer 19, we have Mr. Giovanni Pastrana. So that's a big deal, so props. And it's funny, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Last few things here.
Oh my god.
Where's Luke going to be district manager then?
Okay. CPO talks, right? It's really important. I know there's been some transition to school, but right now, if since COC your CPO rhymes with hero, that is like an emergency. That is an emergency mode type of response right now. Okay. And I know, and I'm not here to call anyone out at this prep. Next one I will. It's really important that we get things going. In fact, we have the SLC push coming up, and I'll give you the dates real quick. If you guys have this in your syllabus already, but September 18th to October 1st. So if the push week starts then, that's when we expect you to ramp it up. What's really important to do before the push week starts? Number one, right, momentum and good attack list. So ready? You can't wait for the push to push. And the push is different for the non-summer. Remember, the push doesn't mean sacrifice your whole life for Cutco like SC2 means. It can, by the way, it can. Some people will do that because they want to make a statement or financially they're looking to drive it. That's okay. My point is, you got to start getting momentum. So part of your assignment will be to meet with your manager between now and the start of the push to have your push PC, to map out what does, like I'm looking at Danny right now. Let's say, what does a push look like here at FIU? That's right, but you don't, okay, that's right. So you're off of school. So what does a push week look like for Danny compared to someone who's a full-time student in Chicago, traveling in a few weeks, compared to someone who goes to school in Miami, compared to someone who goes to school in Orlando? Like, figure that out. And I was just talking to Jack about this. Jack is over in Chicago, and I know he's on no, you're in trimester, right?
Quarter, yeah.
Quarter, okay. Yeah. So he's got a rigorous school schedule. I get it. So him doing like 3 to 5 virtual appointments doesn't seem like any. In fact, that seems like one of his days in the summer. But him doing that around all those school events and the things that he's agreeing to ahead of time actually goes a lot longer than someone who's local that does 8 appointments, because I know that person who's local that isn't in school could have done 10 or 15. It's all relative to you, but making sure you make a statement for the push. Also, there's some really cool prizes, and I sent this out on the WhatsApp. So this is the national contest, and on Wednesday I'll be announcing the Florida United contest for SLC. So check it out. For the 2 weeks, all you have to do is sell $1,500 and you get a traditional cheese knife. This is one of those, dude, you should all get this prize, right? What are we looking at here? Need help? Sell $3,000, you get the hunting knife. $5,000, you're giving away a red galley +6. I didn't even know that existed. There's a red galley.
Well, anything anything under the homemaker.
You can make anything red.
But besides the gourmet. Yeah, gourmet you can't because of the.
And then sell $7,500, you get the 12 stainless flatware chest.
Wait, what?
And $10,000, you win the both. It's cumulative. Okay? And then the SC2 push, ready? The SC2 push of the fall is the Olean push. So if you want this to be a big, gigantic push, when should you just start thinking about it, planning it? Now. SLC push leads into Olean push. Okay? And you guys have this in your syllabus, and we'll come back to this later. But the Olean trip is November 10th through the 13th. So there's some of you that will have to get out of classes. When should you start trying to get out of classes? Now, or last week. Okay. So let me wrap up my comments here. You've been patient. I appreciate it. I will always end my opening comments with this. Okay? It's the same. From point A to B. And I'm going to put this on the board and you guys can see this. Matthew Kelly talks about a concept in life that applies very heavy to what we're doing here. Point A to B. So this represents you, where you are right now, and this is where you want to be next summer with, let's say, your finances. This represents you with your health and where you want to be next summer. This represents you right now, and then where you want to be, let's say, with your organization skills, and where you want to be with your interview, and all that stuff. All the things you want to do to develop to be a better version of yourself. With me so far? Can I get a silent light bulb? Silent light bulb. Okay. Matthew Kelly talks about the time in between.
Sorry.
Called crazy time. The time from point A to B is crazy time. And you can't ever get to point B without what? Crazy time. So there's always going to be some type of challenge, conflict, anxiety, something you have to go through, something that's hard, something that's going to push you. So you can have the attitude two different ways. Julie, we talked about this on our call. You can have two different attitudes. You can have, oh my God, I'm so stressed, oh my God, and fill in all that. Or you can say what Julia told me when she talked about all the stuff that's happening, all the things she's dealing with, and all the stuff that's piling up. What did you say? I'll say what you said. You said, I love it. It's awesome. I'm learning a lot. Right? That's what you want. So ready? If crazy time is inevitable, what do you have a choice on? How you respond or react to it. Okay? And that's what this next slide, and that's what this is going to be about. And I'm going to cover this actually on Wednesday's prep. I'm going to teach this on the Wednesday local when I do the video Zoom. I'll teach this, okay, for sake of time. But situational leadership, and I just want you to take a few we'll do quick notes on this one. Situational leadership is a scientific and clinical-based study, okay? And I'll give you all the details on Wednesday, so I'll save you all the mumbo-jumbo part. And it is an actual model used. In fact, Jeremy Williams, who goes to Georgia Tech University, just sent me a picture from his class last week, and they were covering, you guessed it, situational leadership in his advanced business class. Go figure. Okay? And I just want you to remember this. Julie, if you wouldn't mind this picture, please. What this shows is that when you go through a new challenge, I'm going to give you the short version. When you go through a new challenge, you start here, you go this way. When you start TLA, when you're a new rep, when you get into a new relationship, you always have low competence. What does competence mean? Like skills and understanding. You always have low skill and understanding as a TLA member. But where's your commitment? Yeah, you're really pumped, right? Everyone here is like, I am so pumped and lit for TLA. But once you start to get into it, without even you wanting to, you will go into what's called D2, where you'll have some competence, you'll get better and know more about what's going on. But what happens to your commitment? Naturally, it's always going to drop. That's kind of like honeymoon phase with someone. Oh, I'm in love. She is my queen. Oh my gosh. And then then all of a sudden you get the D2, you're like, oh, I don't know about this one. Right? And then from there, you get to D3, which is where you have moderate to high skill, and your commitment varies depending on where you're at with your life and your business. And the idea is to be ideally in a place where you're high skill set and high commitment. Okay? Right now, for example, I am a D4 rep, but I would be a D1 region manager. Right? You guys are all anywhere, I would say most of you between D3 and D4 reps. Some D2, if you're newer. But right now you're all D1 Cutco TLA. So what am I trying to say in a fancy way? Is that at some point, you're going to lose your excitement. And that's where our coaching is going to come into play. And scientifically, we're going to navigate through all the crazy time together. And no one's going to quit. No one's going to phase out. No one's going to get overwhelmed to the point of, I can't do this, because that's absurd. Because if the Cutco knife program through college is making your life stress where you have to quit stuff, God help your life. If that's what's causing you to have a hard time to quit. This is just helping you go to be a better student and better career. Directing, coaching, supporting, and delegating. Okay, and that's just the short version. We'll cover that on Wednesday. Next thing, decision. Make the decision to be the best possible candidate, and everything will follow. You know, we cover this every single prep. And so, as I said, we'll wrap up with the following. Don't let anyone out-prepare you. Don't let anyone steal your clicker. Matrix one. There you go. Don't let anyone out prepare you. It's okay to be outperformed. It's not okay to be out prepared. That's a light bulb in your face. It's okay to not perform well. It's not okay to be out prepared. Okay? Give up who you are now for who you become later. The best version of yourself is out there. But you have to sacrifice and give that person up now. I want you to know that you will feel incompetent and incapable all the time through TLA. I also want to let you know that you will tell me you will want to quit often. And it's okay to say that. You ever say to your friend, I'm gonna kill them. You're not really gonna kill them. Right? It's okay to say it, but it's another thing to follow through. Now, I'll post this on the TLA page, by the way, so you don't have to worry about the notes. Whatever's making you feel most insecure, work on that most. If money is the roughest right now, sell. If you feel most disorganized, being disorganized makes you feel the weakest, get on your planner. Confidence is found through action, not just talking. While other people are talking about getting better, we'll already be 3-4 steps ahead. Not to mention, the solution is almost always communication. You're stressed out, communicate with someone. Communicate more. You're disorganized, communicate with someone. Communicate more. And you know what I love about Florida United? We're going to talk. We're going to walk the walk, not just talk the talk. While other people talk, we're just going to walk the walk. We're going to do it. We're going to do it better. We're going to do it stronger. We're going to be humble about it. We're going to help people do it. And that's what it means to be part of United. And ready? Last thing. This is the year of Gambol, right? You're from Florida United. And that means something completely different as far as standards, as far as championship results, as far as our culture. So as we kick off our official first prep of TLA today, I want you to operate from a standpoint of strength, of confidence, knowing that Daddy's got you. This is my 20, and I'm saying it in a funny way just for effect. Daddy's got you here. Why? Because this is my 22nd time doing this, and I'm really freaking good at this. And our district team is really I want to say the other word so bad, just to make it like, yeah. Seriously, we are really good at TLA. We are really good at helping you make money. We are really good at helping you develop skills and personal developing all the skills that you need, not just for here, but for being 5-star recruiter. We're really good at it. So good that we're teaching how we do it to the whole company in a month. That's how good we are at this. So take a lot of pride and be confident that you come from Florida United. And I'll end with this as I end probably the last 6 years. When you choose something really hard in life, that's one of the best virtues you can have in life, is to choose the road less traveled. So I have a lot of admiration for those of you that are watching this virtually, for those of you that are at a hub right now, for those of you that are giving up game day, for those of you that are giving up a party, for those of you that are giving up, fill in the blank. Everyone's giving up something. I'd rather be home with my fiance right now. Mike Abramowitz would rather be home with his wife right now. Mike, thank you for helping today. Volunteered, by the way. Why? Why would we do this? Because we know what comes from this one Saturday a month. We know how powerful this is, and we know the payoff. So I want to thank you ahead of time for being 100% engaged, being excited, having fun, being humorous, supporting each other, and getting the most out of the meeting. Cool? All right, take 30 seconds, write your biggest light bulb, 1 or 2. You're going to share it during the break. Write down your biggest light bulbs, 1 or 2 of them. And if you take a look at our agenda, we are upon our first break. Give me just a quick second. Okay, we're gonna do a shorter break. We're gonna do a 10-minute break. So it is now. It'll be 3:13 when I hit the break button. During the break, here's what I'd like you to do. I'd like you to find the next level member in the room, or if you're virtual, whoever you called during the first part of the meeting, call them again. And I'd like you to debrief your biggest light bulbs from the opening comments, and then also find the next level member and ask their biggest tip on how to navigate and have the best, most successful TLA session today and through the fall. Got it? It is now 3:13. We'll be ready to rock and roll here at 3:23. Awesome. Thanks, guys.